So if the sisters want to come on the left side, they're open. And I need you to back up. You can't be that close to me. All of you, all the boys on my right, all the girls can be on my left. And these sisters that want to come down, they're more than welcome, inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to teach us what is beneficial to us, to benefit us with what He has taught us, and to increase us in knowledge, ya Rabbil Alameen. They're fine, they don't need to be a circle as long as they give the sisters their space, inshallah. That's fine. Yeah. If anyone wants this, I don't know how to use it. Go for it. Alright, I hope you guys, inshallah, moved the shoes. You guys can come a little closer, you don't have to face like this.
Everybody's scared from you.
I don't know, I don't bite. I know some of the people here are dangerous, but I'm not. I promise. طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله اللهم صل وسلم وزد وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. بسم الله. So we had a bit of a break last week where we didn't have a class, and now we have a change of scenery as well. So this, some people might be happy about this. Maybe I don't know. Is everyone more happy about this setting than the old one? It's okay. Yes, but no. Inshallah, all masajid are the houses of Allah, so it really doesn't matter where we do it. But this is, for the time being at least, this is where we will continue to have the class every Friday night, inshallah. If you're not on the WhatsApp group and you want to be added to it, let me know. That's where I post most of the updates, inshallah. So, someone raise your hand and let me know what's the series about. Yes?
The greatest woman in Islam.
The greatest women in Islam, the women of Jannah. Yeah, this is a continuation. So, this series, inshallah, this is asking the difficult questions. This series, inshallah, is about the women of Jannah. And for those that were attending when we were doing it in Marlborough, we've been talking about a couple of women. Does anybody remember any of them? Yes, Sheikh Omar. Khadija. Who else?
Fatima.
We haven't talked about Fatima yet. We haven't spoken about Aisha yet.
That was that bin Nusayba.
Nusayba, very good. She was, I think, the last person that we spoke about. Nusayba. And
Wait,
hands. Did you know? That's her name. Your name's Nusayba? Did you attend last class? Oh, you gotta watch the YouTube video about it. You're named after.
What's your YouTube?
Can we raise our hands? We don't just yell out. You gotta watch the YouTube video. We did a class about Nusayba. She's, mashallah, she's a straight gangster. You gotta learn about her. Yes.
What's your YouTube?
I think it's called Masjid Rats. Yes. Nusayba. Okay, we just said that. Who else? One more. Give me one more person that we learned about. Sharif. Huh? Maryam, yes, Maryam alayhi salam. Who was the very first person we learned about? Who remembers?
Pretty sure it was like
The wife of who? Fir'aun, very good, mashallah. Asya bint Muzahim. Yes, who else?
the hairdresser of Fir'aun.
Good, the hairdresser of Fir'aun, her name we don't have it. So we talked about a lot of different women of Jannah. And yes. No, we didn't. Yeah. The mother of Musa, yes, mashallah. So a lot of people that we spoke about, and the last person we spoke about was Nusayba. We're really talking right now about the people, the women around the Prophet ﷺ. And we mentioned kind of some of the characteristics that they have, some of the attributes, some of the things that they did. Last time actually I hyped up this class a lot, and I said this is a very important class, and this is actually one of my favorite classes to teach. And the last time I taught this class was, I want to say 5 years ago, so it's been a while. So, and I don't think any of the people that attended that class are here today. And if they were probably very young. So, the person that we're going to talk about today, and if you've seen the YouTube link, it's a dead giveaway, is Sayyida Aisha radiallahu anha. Guys, I'm getting a little distracted. I don't know what's going on here. We're talking about Sayyida Aisha. Who is Sayyida Aisha? Rayyan. She is one of the Rasul's wife. She's actually his third wife, right? His first was Khadija. Does anybody know who his second wife was? Fatima was his daughter. Not Zainab. Yes. Khadija was his first. Who was his second? Very few people know who his second wife was.
I remember.
His second wife was Sauda. Maybe we'll do a class about her. Sauda was his second. His third was Aisha. Now, for those that were attending the classes that we've been doing at Marlborough, maybe you remember that we kind of talked about Aisha before, right? Actually, when we did the old series about the greatest people in Islamic history in general, we talked a lot about Aisha. And we went into detail about the controversy about her, how young she was when she got married and stuff. We went way into this. We already had a whole class about her, so why am I talking about her again? Yeah, you had a question?
Was she the one that was swinging the sword in the fight?
Was she in a fight? What?
No, swinging the sword in the battle.
No, I think I'm gonna say that. Yeah, guys, you really gotta go back. I'm not just talking so that you can just like, oh, that was a cool story and then forget everything. Look at the video and you remember. That was Musayba, which is young sister here. She was the one with the sword. This is Aisha. Aisha radiallahu anha is the Prophet ﷺ's wife. And we did a whole class about her many months ago, about how young she was and how people attacked the Prophet ﷺ because of her. We went into those details. We already talked about her. Why are we doing another class? Well, because there's one story in Aisha's life that really is the most famous story about her. It's the most important story about her. And it's probably the biggest lesson for us as a community, right? I mean, all of the women that we've spoken about before, these were lessons on an individual level. Like I can apply, say, the Maryam's story on my personal life. Aisha's story is something like, whoa, this is something the whole community needs to work on. This is a big issue. And this story, I'm going to try to keep it within the time range. I can't believe it's already almost 9. We have almost no time. But I'll try to keep it nice and short. But this is very important. And one thing that I always say is when I give my classes, I talk to my students like they're adults. So I'm going to kindly ask, because I do see that there's an age range going on, right? We have very, very young people and we have some older people. I'm going to talk to you guys like you're adults, but please mind the age gap. Like I'm going to be talking about some older people stuff here. Don't try to mess with the little kids or, you know what he's talking about or anything like that. I want you guys to be mature about this. And if the younger kids are confused about something, that's fine. They can ask me. You don't have to make fun of them or laugh at them or try to make some kind of joke about it. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Guys on the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah? What did I just say?
You said,
No, that's not what I said.
you said, like, don't mess with the young kids.
If the younger ones don't
Sure.
understand something, don't listen.
I'll take that. That's a general life advice. Don't mess with the young kids. But Aisha radiallahu anha, at this part in the story, she's already married to the Prophet ﷺ. They have a very loving relationship. Aisha loved the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ loved her back. He gave a nickname to her, Ya Aish. That was her playful name that he used to call her. They used to race together. They would play with each other. They would eat together. The Aisha radiallahu anha was a very dutiful wife to him. And the other wives of the Prophet also knew, Laith, I get really distracted very easily, you know me, right? So if you want to come, if Ibrahim is distracting you, if there's a phone.
To be honest, that's
Yeah.
a personal issue.
So, Aisha radiallahu anha, she was a very dutiful wife to the Prophet, and all the other wives of the Prophet ﷺ knew how much he loved her. Right? It was a well-known thing that the Rasul ﷺ loved Aisha. There was a special love that the Prophet ﷺ had for Aisha. Now, the Prophet ﷺ, what was his job in Medina? Yeah.
To spread Islam,
To spread Islam, that's one of the things. What else?
to be a prophet.
To be a prophet, which is basically what she said.
It's like herd sheep or something.
That was in Mecca. In Medina now, he's what? What's his primary role?
Prophet. A prophet.
Okay, he's always been a prophet though. He's kind of the sheikh, he's the president, he's the leader now of Medina. There's nobody above the Prophet. He's the one that makes the decisions, he's the one that makes the rules. And part of being the leader of Medina is that he had a lot of battles that he would go to and a lot of places where he would take an army with him. Now back then, if you're going to take an army and march out into the desert and face another army, how long does this take? This isn't, I'll be back, I'm going to go to 7-Eleven, get some chips and come back. This could take weeks. This could take months at some times. The longer places where it was really far, it could take a very long time. So the wives of the Prophet, right, they wouldn't want to be left alone for that long. So the Rasul ﷺ, before he would go, what he would do is, basically he would cast lots. Like he would take a group of sticks and he would mark one of them and he's like, take one, each one of you take one. The one that has the mark, you're going to come with me on this journey. You know, when we're trying to choose something randomly, what do? You flip a coin, right? Or you have the spinner app, right? You put people's name, you spin it randomly. So the Rasul would basically go to his wives, pick a stick, and the one that has the mark, you'll come with me on the journey. So one day they're about to go on an expedition, they're about to go on a journey, and Aisha's name comes up. So Aisha's really happy. She says, yay, I get to go on a trip with the Prophet ﷺ. And she goes, and this was after the verses in the Quran came down about hijab. And the hijab was a new thing. It wasn't always from the beginning. So Aisha radiallahu anha, she's now wearing hijab. And because she was the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, she had an extra thing, which was that she wouldn't let anyone see her. Just like who? Which woman did we talk about before? She wouldn't let anyone see her. Rayyan? Maryam, mashallah. Maryam alayhi salam, same thing. So Aisha radiallahu anha, she would go on this journey, and basically she had a camel, and on the camel's back there was a hodaj. In Arabic we call it a hodaj. A hodaj is basically like a mini tent. So you couldn't see the person riding it, but you would see there's like a tent on the back of the camel, and that's where Aisha was riding. And she went out on this journey with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This journey was a very interesting journey because there were Muslims on this journey, but there were also munafiqs on this journey. Who knows what a munafiq is? Yeah, a person who claims, a person who claims he's a Muslim, but inside his heart he's what? A disbeliever. Why would someone fake being a Muslim? Nowadays we have the opposite. You're a Muslim, you try to fake being a Christian or something. Yeah, my name is Mo, not Muhammad. Why would someone fake being a Muslim? Yeah. Money, what else? Yeah, they could be a spy.
I would say getting intel from the Muslims.
Getting an intel. It's more for the money side. Why? Because who's the president of Medina? The Prophet. So if you want to be on his good side and make sure you have power and prestige, and you can fake being a Muslim, right? And this is what the munafiqs used to do. Around the Prophet ﷺ, this is, you're the best and we love Allah. And then when they're by themselves, يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. They would make fun of Islam. They make like, yo, this guy actually thinks he's a prophet. What? So when he went on this journey, the munafiqs came too. Because they said, if we win this battle, we're going to get a lot of bounty, a lot of booty. We could get a lot of money, weapons, and stuff like that. So they weren't in it because of Islam. They were in it just because of what? The loot. They're trying to get loot. That's it. So the munafiqs went out. The head of the munafiqs was this guy named Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul. He has a long name. I'm going to shorten his name to Salul. From now on, I'm just going to. But his full name is Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul. This guy was the leader of the munafiqs. He's the biggest munafiq out there. And they go on this journey. Long story short, just so that we have the time. They go on this journey. No battle happens. They go. They scare off the enemy. The enemy runs, whatever. So they said, successful, now we can go back. While they're going back, an incident happens. And remember, Aisha is on this journey as well. Make sure she doesn't lose that because that's expensive. They go on this journey, and on their way back, Aisha's like here. This whole thing is happening. There were two young boys in the army as well. Rasul ﷺ, he used to allow teenage boys to attend the battle. And if they proved themselves that they were mature enough and they were strong enough, they could participate in the battle even if they were 14, 15 years old. Right? Back then, you were an adult when you hit puberty. We didn't there were no 25-year-olds living in their parents' house playing video games with no job. That wasn't a thing back then. You're 13 years old, you're a man. Right? So there were two young boys that were in the army. One of the boys was a muhajir, the other boy was an Ansari. What's a muhajir? What's an Ansar? What is this? Yeah. A muhajir is from Mecca. So the Muslims that did the hijrah from Mecca to Medina, that's a muhajir. What's an Ansari then?
Somebody that's already been in
Medina, right? So basically it means a guy from Mecca and a guy from Medina. They're both Muslims. They're both young boys. We don't know exactly what happened, but we can imagine something kind of stupid happened with young teenage boys. They maybe one of them spilled water on the other one. He says, God damn you. He got into an argument. These two young boys basically started arguing. And when two young boys get into an argument, what happens?
Fight.
They get into a fight. So they start throwing hands, right? Now, when the other adult Muslims saw these two young boys fighting, what do you think is the responsible thing they would do?
Stop.
Separate them. But when the muhajir saw, yo, is that Ansari guy fighting one of our muhajirs? And the Ansar were like, yo, what does that muhajir do putting his hands on an Ansar? So the adults came in, and instead of separating them, what did they do? Fight, 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 fight. Right? And it became complete chaos.
Every high school.
Yeah, basically every high school. But this time the adults, the Muslim adults, participated. And why did they do this? Well, because there was a problem back then, and it's a problem now, and it's called jahiliyyah, which is basically when you see your own type of person, a person from your country, even if he's wrong, even if he's just a stupid kid, even if there's something, you're like, whoa, no, but that's my country. I'm going to support him. But the other guy's a Muslim too. I don't care. It's him versus me. No, I'm with him. So the Ansar started siding with the Ansari kid, and the Muhajir started siding with what? The Muhajir kid. Okay, we're going to need that. That's expensive. I don't want her to break it.
$700. Get out of it.
Thank you. Thank you. So, who hears what's going on? The Rasul ﷺ hears a big fight. You see the crowd of people fight, 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 whatever. So the Rasul ﷺ, he comes in, and immediately when they see the Prophet, everyone stops. Right? You're not going to start throwing hands when the Prophet's there. So the Rasul ﷺ says, what is wrong with you people? Isn't it strange that Allah guided you guys to Islam, and now you're going to go back to Jahiliyyah? Right? What is Jahiliyyah? Again, Jahiliyyah back then before Islam, my family, my tribe, right or wrong, I support them. Right? Jahiliyyah today exists, but it's not with your tribe, it's what?
With your family.
Your family, or, the more common one?
The country.
Your country. I'm from Pakistan, I don't care who the other guy is. I support Pakistan, right or wrong. I'm Arab. I fight with the Arabs even if it's against the Turkish. I'm from Palestine, I'm from Egypt, I'm from whatever. And if we see two people getting into a fight, we don't know who's right or who's wrong. It's like, no, I support my guy. Right or wrong, I support him. That's Jahiliyyah. And the Rasul ﷺ, he saw this and he started yelling at them. And he said, دَعُوهَا فَإِنَّهَا مُنْتِنَا. He said, leave this, it is disgusting. Like, how can you do this action? You guys start fighting in adults and start attacking each other? This is such an ignorant thing to do. He said, دَعُوهَا فَإِنَّهَا مُنْتِنَا. Leave this is such a disgusting thing. He literally uses the word disgusting. So everyone kind of, they cool off and they're like, okay, yeah, that was kind of embarrassing and stuff. Now, the Muslims, they got embarrassed and said, yeah, we shouldn't do that. That was messed up. We got a little carried away. The Munafiqs, on the other hand, they were mad. They were mad. They were just like, why did he call off the fight? Like, what? Just because he's a Muhajir too? He doesn't want his... We were going to beat up the Muhajir kid, but the Rasul ﷺ, he came in, he intervened. Nah. Yeah. Most of the munafiq, as far as I know, almost all of the munafiqs were from the Ansar. Because the reason was, to be a munafiq, you had to try to get money. The Muslims in Mecca had nothing to gain from being a Muslim. If you became a Muslim, you would be tortured. You wouldn't get any money out of it. The Muslims in Medina, when the Rasul ﷺ comes and now, he's powerful and he has power and wealth and prestige, now you have something to gain by faking being a Muslim. Right? There were no munafiqs really in Mecca. Mecca, they were all like true believers. If anyone knows how to turn on the AC, I kind of feel like it's kind of hot in here. You turned it off. They're off. It is. It's really hot for me. Jazakallah khair. No, the AC was just this one. On the pillar right next to you. Yep. It should be on. Anyways. It's already on? Okay. If we can get the fans then.
No, it's at the 78.
That's pretty hot. that's a heater. Jazakallah khair. So, what happens next? The munafiqs are upset, and when they're by themselves, and again, this is what the munafiqs do. When they're in front of the Prophet, they're all nice, they're all religious, alhamdulillah. And when they're away from the Rasul, they're cursing, they're using foul language, they're making fun of Islam, right? They're too different, they're two-faced. In front of the Prophet, they're one thing, by themselves, they're something completely different, right? And which is why, when a person acts like this, people call them two-faced. Like what, you have two different faces, like one face you're all nice and religious and stuff, and the other face is like nasty and rude and stuff. So the munafiqs were there. What was the name of the head of the munafiqs? Who remembers? Ibn Salul, right? So Ibn Salul, he's there and he's so mad. And he said, this whole Islam thing was such a terrible idea to begin with. And he says a very nasty phrase. He says, we're fattening the dog so he can come and bite us. Like, we're feeding the dog so the dog becomes big, and then the dog is going to bite us. Who is the dog? Who's he calling a dog?
The prophet.
He's calling basically the Prophet and the Muslims. Like they're like a dog. We're helping them now, but one day they're going to come and bite us. And then he says another nasty phrase. He says, if we come back to Medina, the strong and good people are going to kick out the pathetic people. That's what he said. Right? Again, he's a munafiq. He's a kafir. He acts like he's a Muslim, but he's really a kafir. Another young boy, again, there are a lot of young boys in the story. A young boy heard him, and when he heard what Ibn Salul said, he was so shocked. He ran to the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, I heard Ibn Salul say this. He said that he's going to kick out the pathetic people. He meant you guys Muslims. And he called you a dog and I don't know what. He said all these terrible phrases. So the Rasul ﷺ, he said, bring Ibn Salul. So Ibn Salul comes into the Prophet's tent, and the Prophet's like, did you say this? Like this young boy is saying that you said all these phrases, like these are phrases of kufr. Like when you say this, like you're like a kafir. How could you say something like this? Like anybody who insults the Prophet, how could he be a Muslim? So when Ibn Salul got accused, what did he start doing? Qasam billah, wallahi al-azim, I didn't say this. I swear by Allah that this young, he's faking, wallah cap, wallahi cap. Uqsam billah on the mushaf wal Kaaba. He starts swearing and swearing and swearing and swearing. He takes 100 oaths. The Prophet ﷺ, he can't see someone swear this much and just say you're a liar. So the Prophet says to the young boys, like, perhaps you were mistaken. Maybe you misheard or something. So the young boy, he got so upset, like the Prophet's not believing me. Like I heard it with my own ears, and this guy's a liar. He's saying, wallah, wallah, I swear by Allah, he's lying. So this young boy gets really, really upset. You guys are like, what does this have to do with Aisha? You'll see. Yeah. Now, when the Prophet ﷺ is just a human, he sees two people, one of them could be lying, he doesn't know what to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then goes and reveals an entire surah of the Quran. Surah does anybody know? Munafiqun, mashallah. Who said it? Good job. Surah al-Munafiqun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals all of Surah al-Munafiqun. And in Surah al-Munafiqun, we don't have time to go through the whole surah, but basically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exposes Ibn Salul. And he says, he did say it. He says, لَإِن رَجَعْنَا إِلَى الْمَدِينَةِ لَيُخْرِجَنَّ الْأَعَزُّ مِنْهَا الْأَذَلُ. And Allah says, He said that the noble, good people are going to kick out the pathetic people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He's the pathetic people, and Allah and His Messenger are the good ones, and they're going to win. So Ibn Salul, he's now even more ticked off that he's been exposed. And here's the thing, by the way, when Allah reveals a surah about you, it's not just, it's a surah goodbye. This is a surah that the Muslims now will learn, they'll memorize, and it's an act of worship to recite it, and people and Muslims will be reciting it forever. Till this day, you could come up, lead Salat al-Maghrib, and read Surah al-Munafiqun. Like you're exposed forever. It's not like one thing, it's like a Snapchat thing, you sent it, it's gone. No, it's here forever. So, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul was so ticked off. And the Rasul goes and he commands the army to travel. He says, all right, this is getting kind of crazy. This expedition is over. Let's all go to Medina before things get crazy. Now, all of this is happening. What's Aisha doing? Aisha, she's in her tent. She's chilling, right? She doesn't know what's going on. She has no clue. While the army is camped, Aisha, she needs to use the bathroom. Now, when you're out in the desert, where's the bathroom? Anywhere. Just go somewhere far, private, go use the bathroom, right? And come back. Yeah.